Hey guys, what is up? It is No Help and welcome back to another video today. So today I'm going to be going over Poll 80 because I think it has massive updates that could come into the game, and I really recommend you guys vote on this poll. So let's just go over the poll and see what we think. Okay, so this is poll number 80, the wilderness, tombs of a mascot, and more. So let's just go over the quality of life changes that they want to make. So starting off with the tombs of a mascot, the Bubba room. So our latest raid is almost a year old and has seen over 26 million completions so far. Be honest, how many of you are still running dry on the Tumican Shadow? I'm actually still running dry on the Fang. Anyway, so they want to change the path of Anakin, which is the Bubba room, the monkey room. So one of the most common pieces of feedback for this particular room is that it feels too long compared to other paths, and playing better doesn't speed things up. That is very true. You can play insanely well, and it's still a very long room. So here are the core issues. There's a maximum number of monkeys that can be spawned in at once, which will prevent the next wave from spawning. If it is reached, baboon shamans, Vialto baboons, and cursed baboons don't count towards this cap. There is a minimum number of monkeys where a new wave is forced to start. This means that if there are fewer enemies than the minimum, the next wave will begin as soon as possible. There's a delay where the next wave won't spawn for a fixed number of ticks. Luckily, we can make some tweaks under the hood, perhaps using a monkey wrench that will let skilled players save some time, increase the maximum monkey limit, meaning that waves are more likely to begin even if the room isn't already busy, increase the minimum monkey limit, meaning waves are more likely to start sooner rather than waiting for you to kill one or two pesky baboons before beginning, reduce the delay between waves so that if the other conditions above are met, the room will proceed faster. So obviously this is a good thing. We'll just speed up the room. Maybe you'll take more damage in here. All depends, but we can use the blood spells to heal and stuff like that. So should we make the changes to the monkey path as outlined in poll 80? Honestly, I believe yes. Okay, so now the other part that they want to fix is the Akka fights. So basically Akka and Rage phase, otherwise known as, we can't say that, the Cum phase, I guess a lot of people call it, was a hot topic early on the Tombs of a Mascot's life cycle. These days it feels most players have gotten to the grasp with chasing Akka around the room while navigating the damage orbs through. We'd like to make one last quality of life improvement. Right now Akka will teleport to a new location after a fixed number of hit splats determined by how many players are in the room. This leaves you to do a whole lot of running even if you're not actually damaging the boss. We want to change this so that Akka only teleports after a set number of damaging hit splats, which would save you some cardio after hitting nothing but zeros. This is insane because how many times do you just hit 0, 0, 0 and then he teleports, you hit 0, 0, 0 again and he teleports, and it just takes forever. You get hit by the cum balls and it's really not a good time. So should we make the Akka teleport after only damaging the hit splats? 100%. Okay, so there's some smaller TOA changes. There's a couple of more points of feedback we saw from the recent survey that we'd like to address as unpolled changes. Add the ability to deposit supplies in the tomb's main area next to the helpful spirit. That would be really good because if you can save brews, your real restores, stuff like that. Of course, just add that, and add an option to deposit and retrieve your pickaxe in the lobby area. Yes, I don't know why this isn't already in the game. That would just be insane. Okay, so the next thing is the skill guide. Iconic, easily accessible, and one of the first things you discover as a player. The skill guide is there to help you understand what you can get from certain skills and at what level. So obviously they want to just make a little bit of changes to it to make it a little bit easier to use and kind of show more, I guess. So here is another cool thing that they want to add, right? So if we watch this little video quickly, you can see that the guy here is mining, and you can open up the skill menu. So basically right now, if you open up the skill menu, you will stop whatever you're doing and it's XP waste, right? So they want to make it so that you can open the skill guide, look at stuff while you're skilling. I think this is obviously should be into the game. So should we give players an alternative option for the skill guide that will not cancel your current action? Of course. Okay, the next one here is the Winter Todd respawn timer. This piece of feedback has been chilling out of the backlog for a while. Currently, Winter Todd has a randomized respawn timer, which we implemented to prevent third-party clients from adding a viewable timer. Since this is something we add we later added ourselves, we think it's time to ditch randomness and give Wintertodt consistent 1 minute respawn timer. So I believe it can go up to 1 minute 30 seconds. So obviously this would just make it for more experience per hour and easier to bank and just stuff like that. So 1 minute, of course, this should pass the poll. And the Dragon Fire Shield, currently the best in slot beast of an item, has a fiery attack that can be used in a tight spot to deal cheeky bit of damage. However, it behaves slightly different between PvP and PvM. The attack gives magic, defense, and hit points XP versus monsters, but only defense XP versus other players. We'd like to make it more consistent by having the attack only give defense XP. Yeah, like, I don't really care about this one. Okay, so now there's going to be some wilderness and PvP changes. So for Callisto right now, it's time to take a closer look at the big bear in the not so blue house. In the past, Callisto was made immune to magic because people kept safe spotting him. But since we've redesigned his lair, we no longer think this immunity is a bare necessity. Good one there, Jagex. I almost read that wrong. We'd like to remove magic immunity from both Callisto and RTO while augmenting their magic defense to compensate. We also know chip damage has been a hot topic lately, and we'd like to remove chip damage taken when facing these grizzlies. Lastly, we'd like to adjust guaranteed freeze players can get anytime they're above 0 accuracy to make a bit more balanced. So should we remove magic immunity? Yeah, why not? Random events, a smaller change here. We'd like to prevent random events from spawning in the wilderness, boss dungeons. This could make for a less distracting experience, and it'll stop mysterious old man having to sign so many insurance forms. Yeah, remove it from the wilderness. I don't care. So, Arceus spells and PvP. Two of the spells that stick out the most from the Arceus spellbook are Mark of Darkness and Greater Corruption. Currently using them against other players doesn't feel great, so we'd like to breathe a little more life into them. Haha, with a couple of buffs. First, we want to give both Lesser and Greater Corruption 50% accuracy instead of 33 and 66%. But wait, this isn't less accurate than the current accurate bonus on Greater Corruption. Hold your horses to compensate. We're doubling the prayer drain effect on this spell. Scary stuff. So lava dragons, they're bubbly, they're ferocious, and they're super hot. Let's take a look at lava dragons. With the introduction of ensouled dragon heads, we've become aware that lava dragons don't have that drop. Obviously, they do have heads, so instead of replacing any current loot, we'd like to add this as an extra drop on their table. Yes, I don't know, like, why not? The Rogue's Chest, much like the Muddy Chests we'll talk about later in the poll blog, the Rogue's Chest is a multi-combat area deep in level 54 wilderness and requires a high theming level to open with an average loot of 1600 GP, making it around 330,000 GP per hour. We think we could, this could be a little higher, especially when you consider that methods at similar levels give better rewards without any risk. Exactly. We want to increase the GP and XP per hour. As an extra bonus, we'll also consider adding a little semi-rare something to the loot table with your approval. We could revitalize this underloved area of the wilderness. I would be curious what they want to add to that. That's pretty cool. Now, I'm not going to go over everything because I don't want this video to be 2 hours long, but these are the current lava dragons, and they kind of want them to be more old school, so they want to change them to look somewhat like this. I don't really know how I feel about that, but it's just a cosmetic change. The Pyramid Plunders, so now as you are all aware, the big reward from this minigame is the Pharaoh Scepter, which lets you teleport all over the desert. Now your chance to get the Pharaoh Scepter is supposed to increase with each room you complete, which makes sense because each room requires a higher thieving level. Unfortunately, it seems like somebody knocked over a mummy's brain jar when I was doing the math on this one, because reaching room 6 actually reduces your chance to get a scepter. By the time you reach room 8, it's 4 times less likely to receive one. So obviously we want to fix this to have a fair chance of getting the scepter, of course. So the blue dragon skills and Nightmare Zone. So Nightmare Zone already boasts some of the best AFK methods in the game. And if you know what you're doing, you can rack up a number of points too. So much like They're breathing red spider eggs. We'd like to remove blue dragon scales from the Nightmare Zone shop since we've recently gave people a faster way to acquire them, of course. They want to do Revenant Cave teleports, Wilderness Boss loot tables, Scorpia changes. Keep going down here a little bit. Spindle changes, Major Arena changes, Repair Cost changes. Isn't it satisfying to make someone sit in the wilderness wearing Elite Void and a Fire Cape as they shout, "Please, you run to trade your loot key in," and it's only 150,000 GP. Considering how powerful these items are, the repair costs are noticeably low. We'd like to change that. So basically, if you're PKing in the wilderness with these untradeable items, I guess you'll get more money for it now. And some of them are a pretty crazy increase, like Elite Void going from 170k up to almost a million GP, pretty crazy. Some money chest changes, Wilderness Diary. There are some great rewards from the Wilderness Diary, but one of the most underwhelming ones is the miserable 50 runes you get from the final tier. Considering that this requires multiple high-level skills and risking your life and limb in the most dangerous part of the map, we reckon it should be a bit more rewarding. Our plan is to bump the number of runes up to 200 and give players a chance to get all kinds of runes, a much better reward than the reward for one of the toughest diaries in the game, of course. Blighted Sacks, Revenant Shortcuts, this Skyring Pool, I can't really pronounce that, but I'm pretty sure this is where you can just kind of look at people, scout them and stuff like that from a different place. Splash weapons they want to make into the game. Soon, the Cursed Goblin Hammer and similar items will go back to having a -100 in all combat bonuses. We reckon this change will really make a splash. So what's next? When are we going to make changes to the Chambers of Xerix? Old School RuneScape's first raid ever has issues with scouting and scaling because there are long requested improvements. We want to make sure the quality of life team are able to dedicate some time towards resolving them. So therefore, the next thing on our list is to set a Chambers of Xerix improvement, not on poll 81. However, well, after reading through all that, we think you deserve a treat. So here's a magical poll blessing for your next grinding sesh. Best of luck and happy scaping. Well, that was a lot. I didn't even read everything. There's a lot of wilderness and PvP changes I didn't read because I'm not super into all of that. I know a lot of people are. I just didn't want to make this video like 2 hours long by reading everything. But all of the quality of life changes just sound so good. Like just fixing the Tombs of a Masket, just things that are just very annoying, right? Like that should kind of already be into the game. I'm also really excited maybe for the Chambers of Xerix. If they're going to make some updates to that, maybe they'll make it like easier to solo. Maybe they can make it similar to the Tombs of a Masket. I don't know how people feel about that, but yeah, every single thing in this poll just sounds really, really good, and I'm really excited for the future of Old School RuneScape. And of course, next week, we're getting Desert Treasure 2, which is going to be a huge master quest with 4 new bosses, I believe, and a ton of new rewards to get from it, so stay tuned for that. I probably won't be completing the quest day one just because I'm assuming it's going to be like one of those like 3-hour quests that just takes a long time. No one's going to know what to do right off the bat, so it's going to be very interesting, and I'm really excited for it, but it will be a lot of fun. And of course, I'm going to make videos on all the new bosses and maybe even me doing the quest. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching the video today, and I will catch you in the next video. See ya later.